What is going on, you guys? Pep Platypus here, and it's time to talk about Dragon Ball Super Episode 80. Before we talk about that, though, I just want to let you guys know that the Gurren Lagann reviews will continue starting tomorrow or the next day. I do apologize for not reviewing an episode in so long. Really is my bad, but intense and engaging and fast, and that's what you want from Dragon Ball, you know? Even though it's conservative and probably didn't take too much time to put together, it's still really cool animation because it's engaging and fast, and you get the rapid punches and the kicks. So animation definitely gets a good. It definitely got the job done, and there are still some really good cuts in there. As far as art goes, pretty damn solid throughout the episode as well. There are a couple of iffy spots here and there, but for the most part, the art is really solid. The use of music is, of course, good as usual. It's 90% of the time it is in Dragon Ball Super, so that's good. They are still using the same Kai tracks in almost every fight episode, or every episode in general. It's just gonna fucking happen, I guess. I'm glad they're good songs. I'm just gonna have to get over it, because don't want to beat a dead horse. I don't mind it that much. I just thought it was worth mentioning that it is kind of repetitive to use the same songs. But anyways, use of music overall was good, though. And in terms of story progression and characterization, we get some for Gohan. Let's get the characterization out of the way before I talk about story progression, actually. I'll use the story progression as a segue into talking about the Grand Prix stuff. The characterization for Gohan. He does tie the fight. He gets a tie, which is kind of like having the cake and eating it too, because if Gohan had lost, fans would have been disappointed, but it would have made sense from a story standpoint for him to want to get stronger after losing. But with a tie, it's kind of like losing. You know, he's like, no, this wasn't enough. I should have won. I'm going to train again, is basically what he was saying. So, yeah, he didn't lose, and he kind of won because he was still standing, and then he collapsed. So, yeah, Toei, you know, they tried to have the cake and eat it too with Gohan, and I think it worked out. So, yeah, good conclusion to the fight. Also, you know, the fight started and wrapped up in this episode, so that's also good progression there. But yeah, good characterization for Gohan, wanting to train, wanting to be strong enough. You know, he's got this family to protect, he has the universes to protect. Really, really cool. Also seeing him refuse the senzu bean and everything. Just good characterization for Gohan, just all around. Even using the strategy in the fight was also really good characterization for Gohan, because while there is strategy in Dragon Ball, it makes a lot of sense for Gohan to be one of the more strategic characters, not only because he trained under Piccolo when he was young and Piccolo uses strategy, but also because Gohan, just in general, is a very smart character. Obviously, he's a scholar. So that was really cool. And as far as story progression goes, now we'll segue into the Grand Prix stuff, because this was all craziness. First off, he talks about how, essentially, the Omni King has ranked the universes. He's ranked them from weakest to strongest, and he basically he wants to get rid of the weakest ones. In fact, it's pretty much stated in this episode that he was going to get rid of the weakest ones at some point. He's just using the tournament as an excuse, which actually means Goku saved Universe 7 because Omni King was going to destroy the weaker universes no matter what. Maybe he wouldn't have destroyed Universe 7 because of Goku, or maybe he would have said, hey Goku, come live with me, I'm going to destroy your universe, I don't know. But he was going to destroy it. And because Goku offered the tournament, or not offered, because Goku reminded him of the tournament, now Universe 7 has a fighting chance at actually living and not getting destroyed, like the rest of the universes that he was going to destroy anyways. I've already been saying that this was not 100% Goku's fault. I've been saying a lot of the blame needs to go to the Omni King, and this episode only reinforced that. Now, the Omni King saying he was excited for the tournament, and Goku saying, yeah, I'm really excited too, is a little iffy, I'll admit, because Goku, he did take this seriously at first, but now it sort of feels like, even though he knows what's at stake, he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm excited for the tournament. I'm really curious to see how Goku's going to react when shit actually starts going down and universes actually start being destroyed. We'll have to wait and see. Also, now the Gods of Destruction all know about it. We find out that the angels are exempt from this. We find out that universes 1, 12, 5, and 8 are exempt from this because their mortal average is so high. And we also find out the universe 7 has a really low average, so it's one of the weakest. I think I might have said that, but still, we find out a ton from the Grand Prix. Kind of an awkward place to put this announcement. You'd think after the Zen matches are over, but it's fine, whatever. Yeah, we find out that Universe 7, on average, is the second weakest, which actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because the strongest guy in the universe used to be Frieza. And he was strong by a very wide margin, so yeah, it kind of makes sense that the average would be fairly low. I mean, We got Namekians, Earthlings, which are around the same. Namekians are they're kind of just stronger inherently, but humans can get kind of close to Namekian levels. Obviously not Piccolo, but Piccolo is an exception, and he's like 3 Namekians. He's not even fair. He used the fusion technique twice. But yeah, I think it does make sense. I mean, we haven't seen every single species in the universe, but Frieza was the strongest, and Frieza's pretty weak now, for the most part. The original Frieza before Resurrection F. So he was an exception. Goku and Vegeta and all of them, obviously all of the Universe 10, or not Universe 10, the Universe 7, the 10 fighters, there we go. They're obviously all exceptions, except for like Roshi and Tien and Krillin. They're around the average. But yeah, Frieza was the strongest, and all the villains after Frieza were either not mortal or man-made. The androids were man-made enhancements. Cell was man-made. Majin Buu is a Jin, not a mortal. So yeah, it makes sense that they would be that low, with only a handful, literally a handful of fighters being above average. That being pretty much the team we're going to see in the tournament, minus, like I said, the humans. So it makes sense that they'd be that low. And since the Trio de Danger, or whatever they're called, are apparently the strongest guys in Universe 9, I believe Ro said that they're the strongest in Universe 9. If that's the case, obviously that means they are the weakest universe by far. So yeah, that makes sense power level wise. And then we find out that the mortal average of those other universes is like a 7, which I don't know how the power levels translate out. I'm not going to worry too much about the power level bullshit. Fans shouldn't worry about power levels either, but I know they will, so, whatever. They kind of opened up a new can of worms with this episode, but still, I think it makes sense from the information we've received so far. And I'm very curious what we're going to do with those universes, because we're going to get 8 universes. Obviously, if those 4 are exempt, then we're going to get 8 universes for the tournament. I think this works out a lot better, because if it had been 12 universes, you're introducing a shit ton of characters, first of all, and it's not even. It's going to be 12 universes, they're going to fight, there's going to be 6, then they're going to fight again, there's going to be 3, and then it's uneven. With 8 universes, it'll be just like your classic World Martial Arts Tournament. 8 fighters, 8 sets of 10 fighters. So this works out better. It'll be all 8 of them, then 4 of them, then 2 of them. Boom, you have a winner. It makes more sense. It's actually even this way. And now we have 4 more universes that we don't really know much about that we're going to get to see later in the next arc of Dragon Ball Super, or a later arc down the road. So this was a phenomenal episode at setting things up, establishing things about the universe ranking, all kinds of good stuff in this episode in terms of, I kind of want to say world building, but I guess it's not really world building. It's just sort of, again, showing the rankings, setting up some power scaling, which is good because Dragon Ball Super has a habit of not really trying to set up power scaling that well, so this is good. This is definitely a good step in the right direction, not only for the power scaling, the writing of Dragon Ball Super, the blame being shifted on Goku and all that stupid bullshit, and even just Gohan's character. This really was a really good step in the right direction for Dragon Ball Super. For that, I really want to give this episode a pretty high rating, but overall, I think it is a solid 8.5 episode of Dragon Ball Super. A very good to great, no, just a great episode of Dragon Ball Super, honestly. Definitely want to see what's going to happen next week. Preview looks crazy. Bagamo can get giant. I don't know what that's about, but we'll have to see. Because the opening has no indication of that. And I think Goku was a Super Saiyan also, which is interesting because, according to the opening, Goku just beats the shit out of him. But that could just be the early parts of the fight, and then it gets, a little more intense later on. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Animation in the preview, hard to say what's going to look like, honestly. I just hope it doesn't look bad, because both of these fights have looked really good. Majin Buu and Gohan, I really enjoyed both fights. Probably like the Gohan one a little bit more. I'm more a fan of the hand-to-hand stuff, so it looked really cool. Don't get me wrong, Basil, there we go. Basil had some really cool kicks going on, but yeah, the hand-to-hand stuff in this episode was really cool. So, yeah, definitely want to see what's going to happen in the next episode. But, yeah, really dope fight from Gohan. Really good information from the Grand Priest. Placement of it was a little weird, like I said. Could have probably saved this announcement for after the Zen Exhibition match. It's a little weirdly written in that regard, story structure-wise, but it still works out fine. Not a big deal at all. Really great episode of Dragon Ball Super. But what did you guys think? Go ahead and tell me in the comments section below. You can also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you like what you've seen here. Click that little bell to get notifications when my videos go up. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.